So, yeah, what we've got here,
You're obviously talking about the AIDS thing.
yes. Um, People with AIDS typically die from opportunistic infections and cancers that take advantage of their severely
Jeez.
compromised immune systems, with tuberculosis (TB) being the leading cause of death worldwide. Other common causes include severe bacterial infections, Kaposi's sarcoma,
Oh, jeez.
pneumocystis pneumonia, and chronic wasting syndrome. Chronic wasting syndrome just sounds like we're not sure, but he's like wasting away. Like, I mean, let's be honest.
Sounds like leprosy or something, you know.
No, if
It's
it
like,
were,
his fingertips aren't here from last week.
yeah, like he's,
He has wasting disease.
jeez, bro.
But it's
Yeah.
the same as like, you know, those people who get like the bed sores. That's when you know you're really sick.
Nah, bed sores is just because you've been lying in the same position for so
Yeah, but
long.
what I'm saying is you get like, I don't want to say chronic, but
Yeah.
you have it where those places where that pressure is the whole time, it literally the skin starts to lacerate and
Yes.
there's bleeding.
Yeah, yeah, it
And
does. It
you're like,
bruises.
oh.
It bruises. Then it becomes starts bleeding. You know. Yeah.
And that obviously becomes infected, but like you're just completely compromised at that point, dude.
Yeah, dude. It makes me think about something someone was saying. I would go and search it now, but the browser sometimes has its funny thing. But um, she was talking about. Let
He
me
or
see it.
she.
She. I mean, I saw that she said it. It was probably a PhD,
That's what she said.
a PhD in sociology or something along those lines. And she's talking about the sign of a civilization is when
The
they begin.
decline.
No, no, not about decline or anything like that, Maga. Um, the sign of a civilization is when you start seeing communities taking care of their sick or elderly.
Oh,
You
okay.
see, so
So
where
the
it's not
sign
just
of
like,
the beginning of a civilization, you mean?
yes, like that's when you start to see. So that's one of the things that fascinates people when they, or archaeologists and, you know, people who study this sort of historically, is like seeing, oh, this Homo naledi, right? Pre-man, as they would define it,
That's what they say.
um,
Yeah.
like
So, yeah.
buried its dead, or
Mm.
even if you see that, oh, this skeleton shows signs of it had like a broken femur, but now it was healed, showing that it was cared for,
Yeah.
which would then insinuate that it was fed while it was not able to hunt. But we don't know. I mean, we're interpolating here. We don't know because I mean, it could also be that this was just one of those stories like the Revenant. Actually he was left for dead, but he then
Yeah.
managed to like eke out some kind of a living until he was healed. I don't know, but this is the kind of thing that they look at and they get amazed at
Dude,
that.
like, remember when he climbs inside of his horse?
Yes,
Like, he
because
falls
the
off the cliff.
dude.
They're chasing him.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
horse dies, but it starts snowing.
Uh.
But like, I don't know if I think he hid in there
No, he took out.
because
He took off his clothes and then he went inside
yeah,
for the reason of the
he took his
warmth.
knife and he cuts like that. And he pulled all the organs out,
Yeah.
and then he climbs in, which is like, if you think about it, wouldn't that just attract wolves? I mean, he was in that type of countryside.
Ah, you're right. That's another thing. But I mean, I think at that point, it's either you. Maybe wolves also don't like going out when there's a blizzard, so they'll try to stay in wherever their
Oh
shelter is.
yeah,
You
exactly.
know.
Because it was
Um.
a blizzard. That's like a key. Because he had to kind of get himself out of the snow,
Yeah, because you're gonna freeze to death within
and he
probably a
was
few minutes, 1 hour.
Kalhat there as well.
Yeah.
So, but your point being about
Taking care of the
yeah,
sick
so
and
there's something that they also found in a lot of these caves with like these people who like they started going from hunter gatherers to agriculture. That's basically the crossover.
yeah.
That's kind of like your first signs of, I wouldn't say civilization, because I mean hunter gatherers could be, those are civilized, not civilized, but they're in groups, and so it depends on like the definition
Yeah,
of
of course. Yeah.
civilization.
I mean,
But we obviously thinking about people who, in this current situation, you meant just people who are taking care of other people, especially elderly and stuff. But
yeah.
in some of these caves, they would find like midgets, or dwarfs.
Small people.
Yeah,
Little
that
people.
thing.
Little people.
And they would find them in like a proper burial and stuff. So, like, a lot of the scholars believe that those people were seen as like some type of lucky charm or whatever, because they couldn't hunt or whatever, so they were seen as this, like, a gift from the gods that's gonna bring them a lot of luck, or feasts or
Is that
animals to
something
roam the
you
plain.
is that something you why did you have to use the word lucky charms? Because I'm like thinking that's immediately an Irish thing or something. Because it sounds like anyway,
I love
okay.
to eat my lucky charms. I'm being disemboweled.
Was that
Um,
from Drawn Together, right? No.
no, from Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty. Okay, yeah, yeah, okay.
Like the kids eat his, like, they eat the cereal out of his stomach and they kill
Yeah.
him. Which
I
is
missed
one of the
those first
funniest
seasons.
scenes of all. It's the interdimensional cable.
Yeah,
The
I
first time it ever happened. But basically, what I'm saying is, to close that loop, is that when they would find these people buried, they were buried with a lot of different. There's like a whole ceremony that took place around them.
yeah.
Nice things were buried with them. You wouldn't do that with, and this is when they were full grown. So you wouldn't do that to someone who's not important,
Mm, mm.
because they would bury them into the cave. And a lot of what they believe with the cave. So you have to look at, like, what a cave is. A cave, like, almost represents a vagina in many ways.
I think it's womb.
Womb, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, and so when you would see these things like cave drawings and stuff of all these different animals and whatever, essentially what it was we're gonna draw. It's like basically prayer. We're gonna put these animals in there, and then it will give birth to it on the plains. This is
Yes,
obviously
yes.
what
Oh
some scholars
snap.
believe.
No,
You
no,
see,
it's I get what you're saying. You know why that would make sense is because I remember reading a lot about ayahuasca. Was it ayahuasca? So like what they do, ayahuasca, like the traditional use, not just here JRE, you know, what
how
they were
dare
doing or
you?
whatever. Anyway, just saying, what they would do is no, it wasn't ayahuasca. It was a tea called. I actually drank this tea. It's not it's not hallucinogenic. It's the one that, um, it's
The
called
one you always speak about.
guayasa. Is that how you say
Yeah.
Guayasa? Guayasa. This tea that, um, and that was actually insane. It was really great. For vivid dreams. So they would
Yeah, I remember
drink
you
the
speaking about that.
yeah, but it's not hallucinogenic. They would, it's also high in a natural caffeine or something like that. And they would drink it before they would go to bed, then wake up at midnight somewhere, around there, drink this tea ceremonially, and then go back to sleep, and then have very active dreams, like dreams of the hunt. So, in the belief that dreaming it would actualize it, would actually actualize it. And then when they wake up now, they're like, okay, we had a good dream of the hunt. Let's go hunt.
It's because
You
like
see.
they remember this is something that's kind of interesting where like modern society has lost that whole thing which is of the spirit realm, right?
Leading,
These
like leading
ancient people,
ahead.
yeah, like and that there is an unseen realm where
Yeah.
the ancestors are or all the people who die go to, right? And it's an honor to almost die. Uh, and I think one of the reasons for that is, and I could be wrong, but where especially with hunter gatherers, there wasn't much trying to like take care of the elderly in that sense, right? Where it would be, and it goes against your point, but it's like an honor to die. It's like, oh no, I'm going to the spirit realm.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean,
Because
every culture
obviously,
sees so
that's
differently. Yeah.
yeah, when you be like hunter gatherers, for instance,
Yeah.
you got to keep moving the whole time. You know, we gotta,
Mm.
and an old person can't come with us.
Yeah, of course.
So
Of course.
it was more seen like, no, I can be left here, and then
And it's like,
and I also
Granny,
look. There's
what's that?
and then like, "Oh, I don't see anything, and then they're just gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but and this maybe sounds a little bit kooky, but what if back then you just decided to like leave your body, walk out of this life?
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
But I
Like
believe that's
there was
yeah.
such a connection to, let's call it like consciousness or whatever, that like Masamadi, right? This is where
Yeah.
the gurus, they sit down and they literally leave their bodies and they die.
Yes.
And they found like the thing that's crazy about it is when the people actually find their bodies, they're much more preserved than a normal body would if someone just died. Um, and so Masamadi is basically that, where they just leave. Like it happened to Sadhguru's wife.
Then why did
Even
he
though people,
immediately cremate her? If there's no, so anyway, I'm just asking.
if like allegedly, or is that fact?
Allegedly, allegedly,
Okay,
allegedly,
it's in your
allegedly, he
opinion, obviously.
immediately cremated the body
Like
before,
a
like,
minute later, he threw it into a pit.
allegedly,
Yeah,
allegedly.
but so basically, now have people looked into what that is? This high level of meditation where you you leave behind a husk, the clay form, and you just go onwards and you travel off. If that's a real thing, then to me, I would imagine that a long time ago, maybe people were just more inclined to be able to do that. Oh, I'm gonna rest now, and they close their eyes, and then they just walk into their next life.
Well,
Um,
that's the thing, is that there are cases, not studied cases, but personal experiences. I've also witnessed that, where
you've witnessed.
yes, I'll tell you about it, but it's not in the same way exactly. It's not Masamadi like the way you described it, but where someone it feels, or it seems like someone decided, okay, now I'm ready to go. Like they were waiting for their family
Yeah.
members or something, like one specific last person to be there, and they're like, okay, now That's all I wanted. And then they just like close their eyes, and then minutes later they go. I mean, I had that same experience with my mom when she passed. It was, I'm not going to go into the whole experience, but like basically she could have passed any moment before or after we came
Yeah.
to visit her in hospital, but she was, it was, I literally, my wife and I, we got into the room, and I saw her there, and anyway, the state that she was in, it's, I was like, please just go now, like, God, take her now. And just like a
You
minute
obviously said
later,
it to yourself.
no, I said it out loud because I wasn't screaming it, but I said it out loud because yeah,
That like that would be insane, dude.
yeah, but I said it out loud because she sounded like terrible, and
Yeah.
then she went, and so that's when I realized that it's possible that someone says, okay, now I'm happy. I was just waiting for this.
Yeah.
Now I'll go. So this is it just holding on a little bit more? But like also the question is, if we live in a purely physical world, what would your decision to hold on mean? Right? Do you get what I'm saying? Like if we're in a purely physical world, then your decision to hold on means nothing. But clearly your will can have an extent on, or an impact on your physical life.
Well, like
But the difficulty in this is, of course, that we're dealing with people who are very. When I say we're dealing with people, I mean humanity, where we are as a whole right now is we are so smart that we only believe in what we can touch all around us. Um, all of that is garbage. All of that is stupid. I don't believe in that. Those are the things you hear all the
yeah,
time.
so obviously this ties back into what I was saying before, where maybe people had way more of a connection to that, because it's what you said now is interesting because I've heard that said many times when I kind of looked into like NDEs, which is near death experiences and all that stuff, and actually people passing away, where the they would have a sick family member, or whatever, in the hospital bed, and then everybody would be gathered around, and they would be like coherent and talking, and then say, "Oh no, guys, don't worry. Just go get something to grab something to eat, grab some coffee or whatever, and then take a break, essentially." And then everybody leaves the room, and then when they come back, boom, the person passed. Like
Yeah.
right before that. And there's even another one where they speak about the person is in like a full-on coma or something, and then or they have some type of episode, but then when everybody's there, the person like wakes up and says, "Oh no, no, I'm fine. Yeah, I
Dude, that
just..."
same
And
thing.
then in that moment, boom, they go. It's like that last thing.
Dude, that's literally what happened with me and my mom. It's that she was weeks, she was incoherent, like not just incoherent, like in a coma basically.
Yeah.
And then when it just so happened on one day, like there was a lot of crazy stuff happening at the same time. But on that one day, we
With
went
other
there.
family members or whatever.
No, it was just me and Susan, and I think there's a reason for that because my sibling was going through something at the time, and it may not have been the best time if she was there. It would have like
Yeah.
not stolen, would have taken something away from the opportunity to have this last bonding moment where she was, because we showed up and she was awake and she was coherent,
Yeah.
and that's when the doctors are like, look, we can't do anything else, we just recommend palliative. I think it's in English it's also called palliative care, which is like we just unplug everything and then we let
Wait it out.
let nature take its course or whatever, and we'll just give her lots of medication for the pain. And she was corpus mentis. Like she was clear of mind. They were trying to say, oh well, don't just because it seems like she's clear headed. Don't It doesn't mean that she is. You have to make the decision. I was like, yeah, okay, we just want to talk to her, and she was clear minded. Like she was able to make jokes. She remembered everything. She was talking. So again, like you're saying, it's like, okay, now they're here. I want to say something.
Yeah.
And then I remember, I asked her like, "What's the decision you want to make?" And she's like, "Yeah, just let's do this palliative care thing. I've lived a good life." And I called my
That's
aunt.
intense,
Yeah,
dude.
I know,
Because a lot
right?
of people don't have that. Like, say if you get in a car accident or something,
Yeah,
like that. There's none of that. So it's kind of a beautiful point to be at if you can ever get to that point where you're like,
yeah,
nah, it's been good. It's all good. Like if you
yes,
can get to there, that wouldn't that be one of the best
dude.
ways,
Of
right?
course, because it obviously takes away the burden. Not Let me not say burden, but like it's possible that I could have had a very bad feeling if I had to make this decision without being able to look in her eyes, and her looking at me and like, yeah, this is what we've got to do. And then I was able to call my aunt, her best friend, and
Yeah.
they were able to speak. But the thing is, I don't think my aunt really understood that that was the last time they're going to speak on WhatsApp. And my aunt said that, but that's her own journey. Like, she kept saying, like, I didn't know that was the last time I was going to speak to her, and like I didn't understand, but I realized now. She like obviously realized retrospectively, like, oh, that was that look.
Yeah.
The way that my mom was looking at her was like, oh, okay, so this is you, like, one last time, and like whatever. But
Oh, so there's obviously like a WhatsApp video call.
yeah, it was just a WhatsApp video call. um well, but without getting too teary-eyed or personal, I think that
It's
we
these
are not.
onions I've got here in front of me.
Is what?
Mm. These onions I've got in front of me. Yeah, I need to.
Yeah. The point I think we're trying to get to is that there's
The
definitely
point is
more to
this.
this. There's more to this.
It's is what. Yeah, exactly. There's more to this, and also that connection would be. It would make. I mean, there's even some thoughts on like death isn't even a real thing, right? To the person, like to the person, it's so. And this is obviously down those lines of like it depends what you believe, and only really through experience. And if you aren't someone who actually reads up on these things or has experienced these things in a way, I mean, with me, I was like hit by a car terribly
When you
when
were
I was
when
8.
Yeah, when you're 8.
So my experience since then has been very strange, especially when it comes to dreams. And I told you the story before about when I died in the dream. And
You had
then
After getting hit, you had a dream, and in that, or what do you
no,
say?
no. So I'm saying that this was more recent. I had
Mm.
that dream. Remember where? Oh, I'll just say it again.
Okay.
So it was I have 3 brothers, but it was only me and my 2 brothers in the swimming pool.
Oh
And
yes, I
this
remember
year,
that dream.
right? And so it's a brilliant summer day. The water's blue. We're busy doing like this training exercises in the pool, but we're doing this one thing where, and it's I'm conscious. I wouldn't say I'm like fully lucid at that point.
Mm.
So I'm aware that
This is a dream.
I'm in it, but I don't know it's a dream per se. But I'm in it,
Okay, okay, okay.
I can feel my body. I can feel the water. Like it's very real. Um, and we're doing this thing where you go to the bottom of the deep side and you do push-ups with like weights or whatever. And I remember I go down and I start doing the push-ups, and then I swim up to the top. and I break out of the top of the water, and I'm just listening to them speak. And then my one brother says, "Yo, he's been down there quite like for quite some time." And I'm like, "What? No, I'm not. I'm here." And then I look down, and I'm still there at the bottom of the pool.
So
And I'm like,
you're having an OBE in a dream. That's
in a
very
dream,
interesting.
dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And so I swim down. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, because immediately in my head I'm thinking about I was listening to them speak for some time, like 2 minutes or something. So that was the first fear that rushed to me because I was like, who can be underwater that
Yeah, yeah.
long?
And doing those
You know?
exercises, yeah, as well.
So I swim down and I'm literally dragging my own body up,
Mm.
right? But it's weird because it's almost like they don't see me, but they see me, but they're not helping me. That was also like a weird thing. And so I pick myself up and I have to put my one arm onto the bricks and then pick my. Dude, it was like. And this whole time I'm panicking, panicking, panicking. And I finally get myself up onto the side of the bricks and I climb up there and like I'm just lying there, like unconscious. And my one brother is sitting on the bricks, right? So
Yeah,
if you
the
think of
pool
like
edge, the
the
pool,
L
yeah.
shape, right? I'm at the bottom of the L lying across and he's sitting at the other end of the L,
Yeah.
like just with his hands like on the bricks, just like, you know what was very strange? There was this like serenity in his face, like it's okay, like this is supposed to happen, and he wasn't like trying. There wasn't a panic in their face. I was panicking, and so I start giving myself like CPR,
Mm.
right? And I start like giving myself mouth to mouth, which sounds weird, but I'm like, dude, I'm literally going crazy, and then eventually I cough up the water.
Mm.
But as I cough up the water, like it's very hard to explain how these things work because it's almost like you are the person who's lying there and you're the person who's watching you and you're watching the whole scene at the same time. So it's very hard to put into words and actually explain how the actual thought of what is going on and the actual, I should say, the experience. But I remember when I coughed, so I'm watching myself and I cough, but then
Mm.
it's like at the same time I'm coughing and I'm moving over to the side and this water's sort of coming out. But as that happens, it starts to go dark and it goes dark, 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 and then like it's all dark, and then I open my eyes and I'm sitting at this table, this long, long table,
Mm.
and there's all these people, and there's a big feast happening. And I'm like, what is this? And I look, and literally, I think, what's his name? Ian McKellen,
Gandalf, basically.
Gandalf.
Yeah,
Because I've obviously told you the story before,
yeah.
but he's there next to me, dressed as Gandalf. And I look,
With or
and it's
without the
like
hat?
no hat,
Okay.
just like he was Gandalf the White. He had the long
Yes, yeah.
hair, and I immediately recognized because it's my favorite movie of all time. I'm in like the Shire because this is like a hobbit's house. But at the
Mm.
table, there's elves, there's dwarves, there's hobbits, and
Mm.
everybody's eating. And he is just staring at me, like smiling. And I'm like, I'm looking at him and I'm looking at the feast and I'm thinking, like, wait, what just happened? I feel like something just happened, but I don't. It's almost like I can't think of it right now.
Mm.
And now, obviously, with these dream states and stuff, a lot happens, but we can only recall so much. But anyways, I don't want to rant on too long. But essentially, there's like this long time after that. So I'm now in this place, and there's all these trees, and people are chopping these trees down. But then I realize there's this like blade. It's like a triangular, like that. It's like a triangular blade,
Yeah.
and it's got this like short handle. And the one hobbit, there's these massive leaves, like very dark in color, like a dark green, and he pulls strips from it, right? And then they tie it on the end of this triangle
They're
thing.
basically making rope. Can,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
okay.
this leaf is so rubbery, dude. Like you
Mm.
won't. It's like, so basically, what you do with this weapon is you swing it and then you launch it. And our training was basically when you throw it like that, you can pull and adjust that rubbery leaf thing from your side, and it will like whip it like whoosh. So if you throw it out to the right and then you pull the whatever the leaf thing is, the rubber thing to the right, it'll pull that blade inwards to the left, and it will be a solid chop. And I
Yeah.
remember standing in front of this tree and I'm busy doing it. And dude, for
Mm.
some reason in my memory, it was so like I remembered how to do this very easily.
Mm.
And the other guys who were like struggling with it, like the Hobbit guy who was pulling the leaves off, he kind of looks at Gandalf who's standing right there, and he's like, he nods at him, and he's like, he's got it. But here's the weirdest part, right? So I'm standing there, but for some reason where I'm standing feels so familiar,
Mm.
like I've been here before, right? And then it starts to click in my head that this here is the corner of not the trees there, just the land itself
Yeah.
is the corner of my yard, of my house. I just have a feeling, and then it comes back to me, and I go, oh my gosh! Like I remembered, I was drowning,
Mm.
and I turn to Gandalf, and I'm like, oh, I start panicking. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know, I need to get back. I'm drowning, like I'm in trouble.
Mm.
And Gandalf is just standing there like peacefully like that, and he looks at me, and he's like, so why don't you go back? And I don't know how I had the ability or why I was able to do it, but it's kind of like when you wake yourself up from a dream because you know
Mm.
it's a dream, you can kind of just like snap back to
Yeah.
reality in a way. So I do that, but it's weird. It's like this. It's like this transition back,
Yes.
and I go back, and I'm now floating in the sky, just as like an awareness, looking down,
Mm.
and I see like my mom is there, and she's wearing the black, the hat that they wear like after a funeral or whatever,
Yeah.
and she's just like standing there sad, and she's looking at that exact spot where I was when I drowned. And she's just looking at it like that with her hands folded, like all sad. And I realize it's too late. And dude, I'm crying at this point. Like, just,
Yeah.
dude, it was so heavy. And then somehow I could just
Go back.
transition back. And I go
Mm.
back there to Gandalf them. And like, I get back there. And he looks at me and he just smiles and he says, "You're here now." And I
Mm.
kind of just nod at him, and I go back to hitting this tree with this thing, and then I was like, wait, what is going on here? Like, this can't be real. And I immediately wake up in my bed, dude, and my whole pillow is just soaked wet with like
With tears.
tears in my face.
Um.
So what I'm saying is, I believe, and because this is only my own experience, is that what if that happens when we die? We
Yeah.
just continue onward
Yeah. You
into
know.
something else.
Um. I mean, obviously, there's two. Just to play. I don't want to use this word, but like devil's advocate. Um. Some might say that, well, this is your own personal paradigm seeping into your dreams. It's just dreams. Some
Mm.
might be on the other side or the other spectrum of that all and try to say that it is exactly like that, or there was a message in your dream. I tend to believe that some dreams are just dreams, but also some dreams, our subconscious knows some things, it knows a lot better than we do, right? Like intuition, this gut feeling when you walk into a room and immediately you feel like there's danger here, you know that is also your subconscious, which is able to calculate many things better than you are at that moment, just telling you,
Yeah.
wait, there's something wrong. Or even I've had that where I walk into a room, I sit down, I talk to someone, and I just immediately know this person is sad, and I ask them what's wrong, and the person like breaks down into tears and just walks away because they thought no one else had seen it, but I just saw it. I don't even know how, but I just knew like there's something wrong. So the subconscious mind knows some things that we don't know or can't understand very well. So when your subconscious is communicating something to you through your dreams, I think that it can have very significant meaning. And it could very well be that your subconscious mind is telling you this is what the transition will be like. It may also be trying to tell you that, I mean, there's so much to take apart. I mean, from the fact that you try to give yourself life, bring yourself back to life, to the fact that you suddenly saw yourself in the company of Gandalf. Why Gandalf the White? It could have just been an imposition of a character that you like and know in that revered role, but it could be a symbolization of Jesus or an angel.
Yeah, like an avatar
Yeah, an
of
avatar
light.
of light. That's like, and then also, of course, in the company of all these characters, different but familiar, and
Yeah.
and you're safe. You feel safe,
It was, dude, the feast was
right?
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt so, like, felt like home. It
Yes.
was very
You
strange.
see, and then everything to up
Oh,
to
I wanted to go back.
why are you working on this tool? It could be like, here you will find your real calling, or here you will perfect your trait for the next round of whatever. Um,
Because people
it's a
think
very
of
interesting.
reincarnation as you coming back to Earth over here in this plane. But
My friend, if you come
what if it's got
back,
nothing to do with that?
you're right. It could be that. It could be that, and I believe I've read this somewhere. It could be the ancient secret of the flower of life, but probably there's another one. That's a problem when you read so many books, you like forget the titles of
Yeah, it all
things.
just becomes a blur.
But
And then all of a sudden you're like, I said that.
where what if like there is life on Mars, but it's
Oh,
just in
jeez.
another
Those
dimension.
kooks.
No, but it's just in another
Okay, no,
dimension. It's
100%.
you
I'm
see
joking.
because
But
there's
yeah,
like 7 dimensions,
yeah.
each
If you want
with
to go through
seven.
the
Yes, each
Hermetic teachings.
exactly 7 dimensions. Each of them have to the factor of 7 dimensions.
Yeah.
So you're talking about at least 49 and on and on. In this
70 times 7.
yes, in this perpetual motion, so that every time you're dying and living, you're going to the next place. Or it could be, I mean, if you were to come back in 200 years, would it not be a
Yeah.
different world?
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? Like, even if it's like, especially if it's 1,000 years, it is another world. It might as well be another world.
Like if you were a hunter gatherer and then you died and now you're at a PC.
Yeah, I know some people like
That's
that.
that's
I know some Neanderthals that just got here. But anyway, they're not.
yeah, it's like, just everything they touch somehow breaks.
dude,
Like,
dude,
how
dude.
did that? Like, how did you break the handle of the
Yeah.
cup?
Oh, they don't make these things stable anymore. No,
Uh,
dude, it's stable. You're not stable.
um, but what I mean is that we have this idea, and there's a lot of theories, right? And the thing about the dream, and now, so this is where it becomes even crazier, is that Thomas Campbell, right? I've told you
Yes.
about him before. And
LSE. L
he's got the LCS, which is the
LCS.
large consciousness system, and then like which is the big cheese, and then you get the it's the IUOCs, which is the individuated units of consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get us, which is the avatar in the game, right? So that's how he kind of frames it. I don't know if you've ever read I don't know what you would call it. It's a book, I guess. It's called The Oversoul. Can't remember who wrote it. But basically, that's what, like, it's explaining the same thing. So what people believe is that you get this oversoul, which is like God, which is
Yeah.
in Hermetic teachings is the all,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get a fractal of that, which is what people would call the soul. So the oversoul, soul, and then you get the avatar, which is us, um, which inside of us we have that divine spark, that fractal of the individuated unit of consciousness, the soul within us, right? So that's in my big toe, which is my big theory of everything. This is Tom Campbell's book. So I like after I had that dream, I was just, I'm always like checking a bunch of different videos and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was obviously saying it with a lot of conviction. He was saying that when you die, right? And I don't know, like, when people talk in absolutes, you've always got to be very careful. But when he said it, he says, when you die, you go to a place, right? Like an in between place. And in this place, there will be people there to calm you down,
Mm.
right? And it's normally like an uncle or an aunt or someone that you're close with that
But they're
maybe
actually
passed or
demons.
whatever. And then
Just
just
checking.
like kick on your neck here,
Yeah.
that would be
Sorry, I watched
crazy.
Hereditary again yesterday, so I was like, oh.
Don't know, never seen it, but so
What? What?
that's
You
what
don't
he
know? You
says.
don't know Hereditary?
No.
Okay, continue. We'll talk about it just now, for a moment.
So yeah, basically these people calm you down, and it's
Mm.
basically the individuated unit of consciousness, which is it's just a realm almost created to settle you down so that you can move into the next phase.
So it's not really your
So
aunt. It just looks like your aunt.
no,
Oh.
it's like, in other words, it's like God, who's like, knows you've just gone through this traumatic thing and is now like
Mm.
helping you to settle in through someone familiar, or in
Mm.
my case it was
Gandalf.
Gandalf, right?
Okay.
Because that was my, in
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, obviously, like, I don't know what it is about Lord of the Rings, but I've got a real like connection to it.
Of
There's
course.
like more than just like, oh, I'm a fan of the lore and that stuff. Like, no, there's something else behind it that it kind of feels familiar to me.
Mm.
Maybe it's the hero's journey or whatever that is, but even just when Gandalf comes back, it's like things seem like it's all lost. And Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas are on the
Mm.
bridge then. Just all these orcs are piling in number two, and they're just fighting like it's like this is going to be the end
You
now,
mean
right?
Helm's Deep?
Is it Helms? I can't, dude. It's been forever. I
Helm's
don't
Deep,
like
Helm's Deep
the
is,
Battle of Helms Deep. Yeah, I
yes,
think it
that's
could
when
be that.
he said on the third day, look to the
Yeah, the
sunrise on
light
the
will,
east. And then he's
dude.
there like dun
And
dun
then
dun
this light,
dun
he comes with
dun.
white stallion.
Yes.
And it's,
Fairfax.
dude, it's
Shadowfax. Shadowfax.
yeah,
Yeah, sorry, continue.
it's so crazy. And for some reason, that. So what I'm saying is this: how is it that through this perception of my dream, I supposedly died,
Mm.
but Tom Campbell explained exactly what I went through,
And you
and I
had this
didn't see
before
any
you
of it
read that.
before. Exactly.
Mm.
So there must be some kind of interconnectedness, and I mean, if I were to speak openly and fully, but like I said, I'm careful of absolutes. That's what I believe. I believe we're all just one, seeing ourselves as individuals. So going back to what you said earlier, where you walk into a place and then the person is, you feel something is off. It's not because you have like some type of spidey sense, but it's because you're feeling it within your own consciousness, because it's the same being. You're wondering why your elbow is hurting, and then it's being like, hey elbow, why are you hurting? Then they break down and cry and run off.
Mm.
This is why Jesus' teachings of love your neighbor as yourself, because you are one. What you do to someone else, you're doing it to yourself.
Yeah,
But it gets very, very. I mean, it does border on metaphysics and stuff, and so
no, it
that's
does
why
not.
people go like,
It
"I want to
doesn't
get back to
border.
my weed. I
It.
want to get back to my booze. I don't have time to think about intricate things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I'm trying to save up for PS5. Like,
yeah, like
I get that.
I would say
Obviously,
get a nail clipper first, you scumbag.
I
But
think that.
hereditary,
Yo, okay, I don't want to go into Hereditary now because it's, it's, it's darker. Obviously,
it doesn't matter, dude. We're just
we're just
shooting the
shooting
shit.
it. Okay, so but anyway, Hereditary. Basically, it starts off with a grandma dying. She's passed on, and this family, which consists of mother, father, and two kids, a younger girl and an older son. Okay, so family of four. Grandmother's just passed away. Um, they're mourning. You can see there's a bit of a strange relationship with them and the grandmother. Um, as the movie progresses, you find out that like the grandmother,
Spoiler alert.
yeah, the grandmother actually kind of wanted her to have the firstborn kid. Apparently, the mother didn't really want to have the first kid. She didn't feel ready, but her mother
Okay.
encouraged her, no, have it. Um, but you also find out that the husband had instituted a restraining order against the grandmother to stay away from them, and the mother, the wife, made sure to keep her son away from the grandmother. Okay, and
Okay.
that made her feel a bit guilty. So with the daughter, she just basically let the mother back in and let the grandmother, have, quote unquote, the granddaughter. So when she says have, you think in terms of spend lots of time with her, from
Well, when you
infancy.
say have, I think of like not ownership but adoption type of thing.
No, not exactly, but they have a much closer relationship, right? Um, it doesn't help that the youngest daughter also has like a weird face. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, she has weird traits and a weird face. It's like, I would say, like a Quasimodo type of face, but not the body.
Like Down syndrome or something.
But not even Down syndrome. It just looks weird. Like, I mean, it doesn't make sense because where did she get it from? Like, no one in the family has those weird facial features. But you know how Quasimodo has like a strong brow and like
Yeah,
weird
it's like
nose. It's
he's retarded or whatever.
yeah, okay, like that. Yes, deformed, facially deformed. She looks a bit like that, and
But
then
just sorry
well,
to jump in there, but remember Quasimodo is like that because he got grabbed when he was an infant.
not
The
only
soldier told him he was
yeah,
running
yeah,
with his
yeah,
mom. Oh no,
yeah.
they wanted to kill him because he was an abomination.
Exactly, was
And
they
then
called
when
him
the guy
abomination?
grabbed him, that's when he gave him the hunchback, which is it's actually a crazy story because he
You
doesn't
think,
even get the chick at the end.
dude? Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, best
It's
friends forever.
yeah.
Anyway, so
Oh
in
my gosh,
Hereditary,
it's
what happens
evil.
then is basically this mother tells the son, "Look, you're going to a party, so take your younger sister with you." And you can tell he doesn't want to. The daughter even says, "I don't want to go." She insists, basically. She
It
goes.
sounds like a horror movie, to be
It
honest. This
is,
whole
it
time
is, it
he was
is because
speaking.
it's one of those slow burners that kind of like
Yeah, where it's
picks
like
up.
all eerie and deadpan and just like
Yes, and then
no one wants to be there.
and then the daughter at this party eats some cake, has a nut
Oh god.
allergy, can't breathe. The brother, like a good brother, immediately picks her up, like even like picks her up in his arms, takes her to the car, starts driving. He's rushing to the hospital, driving so fast, trying his absolute best. And she opens the window while she's in the back seat, trying to like get air. And he swerves suddenly because there's some like dead deer in the middle of the road. And her
They're
head,
not even alive.
yeah, it's a dead deer. And then her head gets
Oh
knocked
god.
off by a telephone pole. Now here's the thing. Now here's the thing. The telephone pole on the way to the party, you notice it has a weird symbol etched on it, right?
Yeah.
And that same symbol is a necklace that the grandmother had that she then gave to the daughter. And also at the funeral of the grandmother, there's a lot of people that she's never seen, and she's like, "Oh, I'm surprised! Like, what a turnout! You know, I didn't even know that my mom had all these friends, and I know she would have been
Yeah.
weirdly suspicious." So you already have this background of like, this is a person. The grandmother is secretive. She has
A
another
bit of
life.
vows
She has
or
another life. You get it, and
yeah.
basically, long story short, because I don't want to go through this whole thing, is you find out the grandmother was part of a cult, not a cult, like a witch coven, basically, okay,
Yeah.
of black witches, black magic witches,
Oh, I was
and
like,
black.
black as in like African.
No,
It's like the only
no.
white chick there.
These,
It's
trust me,
crazy.
these are very white things happening.
Like that's why I'm like, wait, what?
No,
Like she
no,
had like a witch hood in the hood.
no. Witchhood. That's probably what they call it anyway.
A
Um,
witch hood. I should have left it there.
and they are like trying to summon a demon king, and
Oh
the plan
gosh.
was actually, but the thing is, this demon
Someone
king,
gotta pay these bills.
yeah, this demon king, but is covetous of a male body. So they want, that's probably why she definitely wanted the firstborn, the son. But because she wasn't,
Oh,
but because she wasn't able to get close to him, she then used the granddaughter, the younger one, and
as a
now
sacrifice or something.
exactly, and now the whole thing was to, it's deep, dude. Like they even pretended that they sent a woman to her to pretend that she doesn't know the grandmother, like she's just
Yeah.
going through her own trauma, all so that they could convince her to try out the seance thing. And they gave her a
Yeah.
script and are like, just read this and you can have contact with your daughter. And so basically what they're doing is they're using trauma to get people into vulnerable states. Then they're like convincing them to do things. The mother read this script that they never give you the script, but you know that she read
Yeah.
it in some foreign language to allow these spirits and demons to like basically live in the house and then take over
Those
and
are the
then
ones that were at the funeral.
yeah, exactly, all those people. And uh, and then they find out that like the grandmother's body has been exhumed, and and then the body of the grandmother is upstairs in the attic with that same weird symbol that was on the telephone pole. So you realize that they even cursed that telephone pole. Like they even probably put that dead deer in the road, hoping that okay, we need to kill the girl so that this demon can get out of the girl because it's in the wrong body. It wants a male body. Then bring
Oh,
it
and that's why it was
into
deformed. But she was deformed like that.
yes, and then bring it
Okay, I see now.
into the sun because that's the right body.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's basically my point being that we've spoken about this before. These things still happen. Um, People don't have to believe it, but I always say it's almost less important what you believe. What's important is what other people believe because people are willing to act on
Yeah,
their
exactly.
beliefs. So even if you think like, oh, that's so stupid, I don't believe Jeffrey Epstein and his buddies are cooking babies. Well, listen, you don't have to believe that it.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Sorry, allegedly. You don't have to believe that it makes sense. All you have to know and be aware of is that there are people who have resources and they believe whatever it is they're doing. And if they're willing to kidnap you, your kids, you know, if they're willing to just like destroy people's lives for that, then you should be
I
wise
mean,
enough
there's
to
at least
realize
a
that.
bit of suspicion that needs to be, because it's sometimes I wonder, like, if we're looking at the sort of the plane of the goyim, right? And we're looking at all these different types of people, people we know, people we don't know, and you kind of think to yourself, okay, what does everybody think at this point, right? Like, what do they think about all these different types of situations? And not just that, but like, does it move them? Are they too medicated? Are they too addicted? Has greed taken them over? Has lust, sensuality taken them over? Are they too, like, you know, obsessed with, like, searching for whatever they're searching for, that they kind of look at that and they just put their hands up? Or is it so much of a shock that they don't even register it, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like that other dude who was at the airport who was screaming there, "The Epstein files have been released! The
Mm.
Epstein files!" You know, and then he's like, "You're like a bunch of drones. You're just going on with life like everything is okay. You're just
Yeah.
at the airport on your phone, still scrolling." Now, obviously, like, not
But
straw man or steel man, whatever position, but what can you really expect people to do, right?
no, I think
But
that
it,
people don't want to deal with things that don't fit into their everyday. I think it's something to do with David Icke. I know I'm drawing now like now I'm citing some of the
you're gonna go into
yes.
lizard folk, the
Okay,
Chitauri.
relax. But one thing he did mention that is interesting, which could very well be true because it is I believe that part is true. Like um, human beings, they won't necessarily put it this way, but human beings, we have different constituents. So of different animals almost, or animal species in a way, um,
Like
which probably
99% chimpanzee and all that type of
no,
stuff.
but it's not even like that. That's too broad because we have something called the the reptilian brain, which is
The pineal gland.
our most. We'll search it now. It's the most. It's like it's a very. It's a part of our brain, It's a very raw, primitive part. It's there for the aggression. It's there
Yeah.
for our desire for ritual, like to ritualize everything. So even if it's like, oh, we'll go to Arby's every Saturday. How about that? Like that's a ritual. You know, people always you'll be amazed. Like if you really realize this and you observe the way people behave, you realize that why is everything suddenly a ritual? Like, why can't we just be like, whenever we feel like it? No, they want to
Yeah.
ritualize
We have to
everything.
have mac and cheese on Wednesday. You
Exactly,
know.
and things like that. It's like, why? But um, and if you break free from that, anyway, that's part of your power. But um, because we as don't want to say magicians or as masters of ourselves need to be above all these primordial elemental sort of urges, but which is just willpower. But anyway, this reptilian brain part of ours wants us to ritualize everything, and just help me along. What was the thing again that you were saying? Sorry, I forgot. Like I got on this whole tangent because
No,
what?
no. Basically, you were saying that David Icke and the Chitauri
No,
and
no, no. I didn't
about
say to Chowie.
Epstein and stuff.
Yeah, I
I
didn't
mean,
even
I,
go.
I said Chitauri, or I
Okay,
mean,
okay.
I even said lizard people.
But
But you were
well,
basically saying about like something about Epstein and
yeah. So what I was trying to show you is this: is have you ever heard of Gerald Brousseau Gardner
Gerald Brousseau
or
Gardner.
Gerald B. Gardner? So he wrote. He's an Englishman, or at least a Brit, and
Pikey or
he
whatever they call him.
no, not exactly a Brit, but he gained a lot of attention because he wrote a book, and this book basically was saying, look, witches aren't dead. Witchcraft is not dead. We as witches, we still exist, and this is what we believe. And he started writing a bunch of books.
A
And
male witch just sounds extremely gay.
yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing.
You would
Like,
think you'd be like, I'm a warlock or a wizard, you know.
well, that's that's the thing.
Just
Like,
like the feminine dudes who are there in the protests. Like, I'm a witch too.
yeah, yeah, but that's the
Like
thing.
Destiny,
Okay, okay. I'm not even gonna go.
allegedly.
Allegedly, dude. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Dude.
Dude, it's okay, but continue on. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's an
So
inside joke.
yeah. Uh. So he wrote
Yeah,
this.
witches are dead or whatever.
He wrote this. Yeah. Witches aren't dead. He wrote this book that I read, High Magic's Aid, and I also read his book on witchcraft years ago. Must have been. Ooh, could it be 10 years ago now? Jeez, I'm getting old. Yeah, 10 years ago. And when I started reading it, I had that same feeling that many people have, like this spooky, eerie feeling, like, oh, I'm a Christian. Should I be reading this? But I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna dive into this now. I'm not gonna have, and it's not that scary, honestly. Like, but still, like, there's many Christians who'd say, don't even touch it. It's the devil's work. Listen, my word, just to anyone out there, is, in the Bible, I believe it was Paul who said, be innocent like doves and wise like serpents. Meaning, you don't need to, by being ignorant, you're not helping yourself, you're not helping anyone. So knowing what your supposed enemy, if that's what you believe, believes, it's going to help you, right? It helps you to know what they believe. It doesn't mean you have to believe it. And if you're so weak that just knowing, yeah, I mean, if you're so weak that just knowing what they believe will turn you, then maybe you shouldn't be a Christian in the first place, right? So anyway, I read
Or
this.
maybe you were looking for something to turn you anyways.
Exactly, like, oh, he put his finger in my bum, I think I'm gay now. Like, you always gay. You were just not
Yeah.
allowing yourself to be gay. Not that I'm
Like no one ever
anything.
told you to take your pants off.
Yeah, not that I'm have anything against gay people. I'm just saying let's not live behind excuses of ignorance. So Gerald Brousseau Gardner, he wrote these books. I wish you could see him. He obviously looks like a madman. Um, Born 13th June 1884, um, died 12th February 1964. So the man lived to be 80. Is born in England, and he traveled throughout um, Europe and the Far East, and he basically brought witchcraft back into the light, and witches and witch covens, and what are the oaths that they make, etc.,
This is
etc.
after like the Salem witch trials kind of died out and stuff. I'm
Yeah, yeah, of
guessing.
course. I mean, that's why people were wondering what are witches. I mean, when he then spoke up, like, look, witches are still alive. He basically shed light on the fact that they've always been there. They've just gone into secret, into hiding. You know,
But I wonder what like things back then when they were doing those, or like when they were suspicious of certain people, like what are the things that people that like what list did they look at and they say you're a witch because
oh,
you do medicine work with herbs or you
yeah, obviously,
study astrology or
dude, that's the
do
funniest thing.
incantations and all that type of stuff.
Dude, that's obviously
It's like,
that's the.
oh, you put on a jacket during the cold. A witch. You know, like
It was even dumber than that. If you washed your pockets, you could be accused of being a witch because only a
what?
witch. The whole idea was, why would you wash your pocket? Because it's not a seen part of your clothing, and which is obviously so stupid. Like, how can cleanliness be witchcraft? Like,
Yeah.
but the logic behind that is not complete fallacy, but the implementation is, because you see, witches have to be clean, physically and spiritually, in order to enter the witch's circle. You
Yeah.
understand? So, and clean being quote unquote like not necessarily what you considered, but like physically clean. They would wash themselves with sea salt or salt and water, which we already know from the Middle Ages. People weren't washing themselves frequently.
That's what I wanted to say. If you
Exactly.
think about the type of person, the commoner, it's just this dirty, stinky
Uh-huh.
person,
And you can imagine
you
now if
know,
you're just a clean person,
almost
suddenly.
hook nosed.
Yeah, that's just stories. Like, you know how it was. They will accuse a woman of being a witch because she's clean and she's pretty and all the men want her. She's a witch. She's bewitched
Yeah.
our men. But no, it's like
That's the
she's
thing.
just.
My, I put a curse on my husband.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
it's.
he can't get it up anymore or something ever since she came to town.
Ah,
It's like no,
exactly.
because he finally saw like someone who's actually attractive, you know.
So all of that. And
But yeah, that's terrible, dude.
yeah, it's terrible. But you can also see where
But then
some
you
of those
obviously
things
got
came.
witches, right? Like actual putting curses on people, incantations,
Yeah, you have them. I mean,
sacrificing.
that's one of the things that he talks about, but he doesn't go in depth because Gerald Gardner now, because he says, that's a dark path. They don't believe in evil or good, but they do believe in dark and light forces, and whatever you send out to someone will come back to you threefold. So good deeds will come back threefold, bad deeds will come back threefold, right? Uh, so this is
Well, it's
where,
like the same thing like what Jesus was talking about, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Judge not lest ye be judged. It's like yeah, it's just I feel like that ac- across the board. Doesn't matter the belief. There's some truth to that, and that
mm,
cannot be denied. Because why are all these different people on different sides saying the same thing?
yeah. That's my point that I was trying to get to now. Is that and that's why I mentioned Epstein as well, is these people, yes, they are like, let's call them low level witches. They're just ordinary people. They're not very prominent people. They're not very connected people. But you also have people who are very connected in power structures, politically, socially, that believe these things and are part of these
Yeah.
things. And some are doctors, lawyers, politicians, businessmen, and women. And some are following the light, some are following darkness. Are they mentally ill? Or what is going on? You don't know. But what you know is that these people are there. And you can know what they believe. And sometimes when you listen to the way certain people speak, you realize that it sounds like this person is speaking about something to a layman, but they're saying something completely different if you have a bit of context. And is that just
Yeah.
coincidence? Is it pure coincidence that this person sounds like they're actually talking, like they're making a pledge to their coven? Because someone might think they're making a pledge to
Yeah.
all of us, but actually no. It's the choice of wording is very peculiar. Um, and and when someone like Epstein is involved in alleged spirit cooking or whatever, or you've got allegedly, please everyone note, allegedly Hillary Clinton involved in those kind of things, then, and you've got the skull and bones, and I mean, insert whatever secret
Look,
society you've
we
got.
all years ago we saw Alex Jones's videos of recording the Bohemian Grove stuff,
Bohemian Grove, that's what I
where
wanted to
they
talk
had
about.
the owl and you had
Yeah.
all these politicians and stuff. They almost dressed up in, those outfits that old garb that people would sleep in. It's called like a nightie or whatever. Just a really
Mm.
long,
Yeah, it's a robe. It's a
like,
witch's robe.
robe thing,
It's a witch's
with
robe.
and the ass is out, which is
Mm.
interesting. Um, and they dancing around. You know what's interesting, right? We've actually had a very close encounter with these types of things when we like went to all those festivals, those trance parties, right? If you
Mm.
really think about it, I mean, I even had my mom like one of my friends would come over and would be going with us to the party, and then my mom would even say to them, "Oh, are you also gonna go worship the devil in the woods?"
Your mom would say that.
Yeah, like in front of us, because that's what she said we were doing.
It's look. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. You know this as well. Like we've had amazing, beautiful, connected experiences at trance parties with people. Um, Especially those early days, it was amazing. Like pure love. Like there was just so much camaraderie and interconnectedness. Like you know, people just like I'm there for you, and you also feel like I'll be there for you whenever you stumble or fall or anyone is lost, or everyone's like, here man,
For
let me
you.
help you out. And but there were a few parties, one in particular I never forget, where I went towards the end of the party. I think it was the last day, or it was even supposed to already be closed. It's like the party was
Yeah.
officially only until Sunday, but then we got there Monday night, and there was still some people lingering around, and it's just like
Oh,
elderly
though,
people.
yeah.
It was just like elderly people.
Like literally adrenochrome, just like
Yes,
like
they were in the
energy that's
shadows.
left there.
Yeah, they were in the shadows, and just sitting there, not dancing. Some were dancing maybe a bit, but it was very like sparse, and it felt a little bit eerie, like they were feasting on something that had been left there, like in energy.
Yeah.
And like like when something was fresh and now it's turned sour. That's the feeling I got. Like something was good here and now it's turning sour right in front of me. But I can't describe it
No,
better than that.
it's very hard to describe it because what I was when I brought up the parties, obviously, is the reason I said that is because you would have someone, um, let's say a chick in this case,
Yeah.
who would be working as name whatever job, a manager of a restaurant or even more aligned with like in promotions or events managing some job where you know they're doing it by the sweat of their brow and they're very straight shot
Mm.
and you wouldn't they're just like a normal person. That's another way I can just put it.
Okay.
But then you see them 3 o'clock in the morning and there's this weird laughter coming from them, and like they're like cackling with a bunch of other girls, and you kind of look at them, and even the way they're dancing,
Mm.
and then they're laughing, like,
Mm.
and I look at that and I go like, wait, what is going on here? Like, if I were to say, like, if someone were to tell me, what do you think like a witch looks like or behaves like? What were they trying to depict in those old cartoons and stuff? I would
Mm.
be like, it could be something like that, you know?
Mm. There was.
Because the way they would laugh is like it's coming from like a different place. It's like this. It's if you had to like, and then they would say like, okay, here's another thing to add to that. The next morning, there's always this shade of embarrassment over their faces.
Not for me ever, but anyway, I guess for them maybe. But for me, it was
Like,
I never felt that
and
way.
you know when it happened? When the sun comes up, you would see it.
Oh,
They would get,
really?
yeah.
But
Look, I won't lie,
why?
it even happened to me once, where
Really?
the sun came up and I felt extremely ashamed. Because now everybody could see you. And you were like, what were you doing in the dark just now? What was
Really?
that?
I
Yeah,
think
like what were you doing now that you know you shouldn't have been doing?
that's
And
so
it's not
weird.
like it's just like a behavior. It's something that you were something was in front of you and held its hand out
And you took it.
and you know you weren't supposed to but you went with it.
Wow, that's so crazy because but it could be because of my experience. You know what would happen to me um, when I went to trance parties? I literally just went to the front and I would stomp and stomp and stomp until the next day. So maybe, and this is just because honestly, I've never, yeah, because like maybe that protected me from receiving or participating in some of the more debaucherous things. You get it? Because I was just there in front jamming. Like that's the only thing. Like you wouldn't see me, or I mean, people would say to me, "Yo, I saw you jamming all night long," but you wouldn't see me going around. I wasn't like around. Like I'm just at
Yeah.
the dance floor, and that's all I'm
Okay,
doing.
here's something that came to mind now. What if there's each person plays their role? Okay, now
Hmm.
just try imagine this.
Okay.
So, in all four corners, right, you've got one person who's stomping. You the one who's stomping on the left side, someone's on the right,
You're
on the
saying I'm an
left.
architect
You
of the
know.
evil.
No, no, so they were creating this frequency that's like going inward,
Uh.
which is actually like opening it up. And you need them to keep stomping because they're the ones who are like opening up the gate.
Yo, you saying I was like co-opted and greedy. You have the stamina. Go forth!
Yeah,
Go
and
forth!
you just and like people try like approach and they just pass out there. You don't
You
even
know,
notice it happening.
yo, thanks. You're tripping me out. Yeah, okay, that's possible. Like,
And then in the middle, like all that gets released. And
It's
then those
possible,
old
bro.
people are there, like on the side, like it's happening, and they're just
Yeah.
like,
Dude,
so
okay, but let me tell you this one thing, this one crazy story. So, okay, two things. First of all, for me, when the sun came up, for me there was this point where that was like that's when the party turned into like sweet, like it was the second wave of the, it was like, okay, at night there's this point where the party gets awesome, and then when the sun comes up and it's daylight, there's another point,
yeah,
like somewhere around, I think it's like 9 or something,
nine,
where
ten,
9
yeah,
10, where now it's like the second wave because we're still all together here and we've made it
yeah.
through, and now it's like, yeah. But anyway, I remember now speaking to this one security guard. It was a colored man wearing a cap, black cap, and shades.
Colored.
uh, yeah, it was a colored guy,
What
security
is this? The
guard.
1940s? No, I'm
Oh,
joking.
sorry, it's a South
'Cause,
African. Yes, in
yeah,
South Africa it's
whatnot.
yeah. Okay, I never said that. um and and I said, isn't it, I can't remember how we got into this conversation, but it was obviously in my state, in my elevated state or degraded state, depending on your perspective. And I was like, isn't this beautiful, pointing to the wave, like, and he said, when I see, and he said, this is hell. And
Yes,
I was like,
I know exactly what you're talking about
yeah, and it
because
didn't dampen my mood, but I did think like, huh, that's interesting. And especially now I'm like, huh, what
what did he
did,
see? What
yes,
did you see? You know,
yeah,
it's rough, dude, because I I would see it sometimes in their eyes, the security,
yeah,
where we would be front left, and that railing is literally just boom, 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 right? And whatever it is that gets released there through the BPMs of the music and whatever,
yeah, that's the thing, hey.
it starts happening, right? Something, dude, you're literally like your head is just on a swivel. You just doom, doom. It's like you,
Oh, don't
it's like
take
you
me
have no
back there. Don't take me
control,
back
dude.
there,
But
dude.
it's the most awesome thing
Dude,
in the
even the
world. You're just
lighting of your
like,
camera is like doing something weird now. What the f? Yeah, dude, you don't know, dude. That's super creepy. What's going on, dude? That was super creepy right now. What happened, bro? Okay, okay, okay. Just don't. I don't know what you're channeling there. Okay, fine.
I don't know, dude.
Okay, continue.
But anyways, so yeah, that's like the guy, the security guard, dude. I would see in his face, he's trying to say, go
Mm,
back, and it's like he's prodding us like that, like, and
mm,
then there's this point in his eyes where he realizes he's completely overwhelmed. Like, if we
mm,
just have to like shoot a look at him,
mm,
he might fall even. And
mm,
then you would notice the more like the head security would come there and would just push him aside, and
mm.
that guy would like tell us to get back,
Yeah,
and then he had enough power to push like whatever was happening there.
yeah.
Because you kind of have to disperse that concentration, right?
Of energies
So
of like, yeah.
at that point, because at that point it becomes dangerous in a way. And then that's when people like, you would see it there. They would just scream, dude. Yeah, rah. They were just like, they would be this release of, and what people don't understand is Yere, which is
It means
Jirre.
Lord.
Yeah, exactly, God
Mm,
or Lord.
yeah,
And they're screaming that
yeah,
out.
yeah,
Yeah, like,
yeah. Hmm.
and you always wondered like why you saying that, because it's like it's so overwhelming. Um, but you can definitely say that um, something is happening at those places, and we've been to many of them.
Psytrance
where
especially. Psytrance, you know, it gets
dude,
those
that is
nasty beats like do. I can't even.
like
But you know how it is, like.
that Hiron song, and you know on YouTube now they give like they flag you for even humming these days,
What do
which
you
is
mean?
so bizarre. Like you get a DMCA strike if you just hum a song. Like
Okay.
they're cracking down on it for some reason. Now, because
Hmm.
I wanted to do like the song of Hiron, but it's basically like
Oh my goodness.
you know it's this
Yeah. Don't
high
don't don't even
pitch,
do it.
screechy, just like oh, because whatever happened in my room now. Um, but what I'm saying is that there we
The
can't just say. I mean, what's that guy you were talking about, Gerard Butler or whatever his name is?
Jared.
Um,
No, Jared Green. Wait, Gardner. Gardner.
Gardner.
Yeah.
So people can like look in books and stuff like that. That's all good and well, but we actually have the experience, and there's a lot of stuff that isn't said about trans bodies. Remember, I even
Mikey, I
told
wanted to.
you.
That reminds me. Okay, continue. I want to share something from the book from you. From the book
Yeah,
with
the
you.
last thing that I will say about it is that I remember normal guys.
Oh my
You'd go
god.
out and have drinks with them, and they would always be the ones who'd be like, "Hey, man, you should." They would see you dancing and having a good time at one of the clubs,
Hmm.
and they would always come whisper in your ears, like, "Dude, you should come to one of the trance parties. Dude, you would be insane at the trance parties." They would always be like, and
Recruiters.
that dude, that happened for a couple of years before I went to my first one.
Hmm.
And then I saw those same guys there, and it would be like 3 in the morning, and like they're holding over the other one's shoulder, and they're looking at you like, shh,
Yeah.
you know, and you're like, what is that? And then they like, there's this, it's like there's this secret. That's what I realized. Like, there's this like secret that's happening there, like that's
Yeah.
within the layers, down at its core. Shh, like
Don't
you're
tell.
not supposed to be here. Like, and then you're like,
Mm.
even now thinking about it, it like I feel a bit eerie about it.
There's this part
Um,
in the book, High Magic's Aid. Sorry, I need to share this with you before I forget. So this book, High Magic's Aid, is basically about a Saxon boy who, because you know the story in England, the Saxons conquered the Brits, and then the Norman invaders from the north of France came over, and then they took over uh, basically England. Um,
okay.
right? So first it was the Saxons came over. Apparently, according to law, I don't know what the latest archaeological finding says or not. Okay, but
Yeah,
that's how it
it's always
was.
changing.
It's always changing. But Saxons came over. This Jan guy, obviously Jan, very Saxon name, Germanic name, Jan.
Germanic, yeah.
Yeah, those are Saxons. Um, his father was defeated by a Norman lord or conqueror who took his family home and then took over the title, right? And his whole thing was, I'm going to get the title back and our castle for me and my brother. And in order to do this, they decided they were going to enlist the help of this priest who was a friend of their father, who basically had insinuated that he had some ancient magical texts from his time of studying in Cordoba in Spain at some Spanish
Yeah.
university, and he acquired this text, and he swore that he was going to help them get their title back no matter what, and they had to find a witch, a high priestess basically, who can help them do this whatever, and this witch had certain tools, but she didn't have the knowledge of high magic, which is like the keys of Solomon, basically.
Yeah.
And this priest had the keys of Solomon, the rights and everything. and it's very interesting. There's a lot of other parts in it. I wouldn't say it's one of the best books ever, but it's definitely very interesting. Um, Very interesting indeed. And there's a scene or a part in the book where they're in danger basically. They have these guards or patrolmen who are in a cabin. I can't remember where they are, but they're in a situation where these people are in the cabin with them and it's dangerous for them. So while they're drinking, she plays some music on a harp. And while she's playing,
I love
there's
harp.
they're playing, right? She's playing, they're talking, and the conversation gets a bit like suspicious, like, huh, aren't you so and so? And as she starts playing, they get like slightly blank faces, like expressions on their faces. And then she gets into this frequency. She, you know, Gardner is like like trying to describe it. It's this certain frequency. It's like, and it seems to sound something like ding 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 ding. It's a frequency, and as she's
Yeah,
playing this frequency over and over, like strumming it, their faces become like all red, and they're like all blank, like zombies, that kind of. And then
yeah,
suddenly, the one guy just takes his cup and smashes it into into the face of his partner, the guys who he's supposed to be working with, and smashes it into his face, and they start fighting like frantically. And she just keeps
yeah,
playing it, keeps playing it, keeps playing it until they smash each other over and like get out of like literally stumble out of the house. And this scene of this frequency that like, because it's magical, it's music magic, right? So music, and remember this book was written turn of the century, right?
like
Like
I forgot you
decades.
were talking about the book because I was like, "What movie is this?" I
No,
thought he
it's
was done with Hereditary.
no, it's
But
the book. It's the this
yeah,
book.
yeah.
Like Gardner wrote it, turn of the century. Okay, so it's just interesting that here he's already speaking about music magic. This is before all the studies of binaural beats that we've had in
Yeah.
the last decades and music
Which is all just
influence of the
rehashed
brain.
stuff, you know.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Like
So
even Solomon said, there's nothing new under the sun, you know.
yeah, he's not the only one, but like that's what I'm saying is, isn't that interesting? I mean, even if you're a doubter, it's kind of interesting that even he was talking about decades ago, decades, maybe 100 years now, about
Of frequencies and
frequencies and how you
music.
can use that to influence a mind, and that he would even take it to the point where he's describing the story. And now take that and place it next to what we've been describing about our experiences at these psytrance festivals.
Yeah, because we don't know what. First of all,
We're
the
gone. How
DJ.
many hours have gone missing of your life at a psytrance party where you're
Yeah,
like, I don't know what happened in between there, but like, you know what I mean? How many times?
dude, like I can't even count how many.
Combined,
Like,
you know, combined with the vulnerable state you're in due to certain things that
because
may
of all
have or
the
may not have
candy.
been consumed allegedly.
Exactly. But it was our culture. Think about it. This was what people need to understand is we're not just talking about, oh, this thing kind of happens now and then. No, it was our culture where we came from. People traveled from all over the world to come to these things. We had, and probably still do, have the best versions of these parties in the
Yeah, yeah,
world. Think about
yeah.
that. In the whole world,
Mm.
people come flying there because they're like, I can't miss resonance. You know, and you're like, ooh, that's the name of it? Yeah, resonance. What, like, it's all, it's kind of hidden in plain sight. And especially when you are in these, I guess you can call them altered states,
Yes,
um,
that's what I would
through
call it.
psilocybin or
Okay, don't name
lethargic
drop
acid or
anything.
whatever it's
Yeah, yeah,
called.
yeah.
Allegedly, obviously, I'm saying if I was there, if I was writing a book, this is what I would
If we were
write.
there.
You know, like like OJ said, if I did it, right? That book.
No, did you write a book like that?
A book called, or had a book because he's
Yes.
dead now, but if I did it, something crazy like that, dude. Where it's just, it's sick. But anyways, that's a
Continue.
different
That's
story.
another story. Yeah.
But so you know when you're in that, like for instance, I was once in this place in the mountains, allegedly, and there might have been some, you know, psilocybin involved. And I remember I was like lying on the
You
grass
thought
in
they were
this just
portobello mushrooms. You thought you were
exactly
told they were portobello.
portobello,
Yeah.
yeah, like from Danny's, you know.
Oh.
And basically, what happens is that there's three of us, and we're just enjoying. Dude, you're in the middle of like this remote place in the mountains, and things are happening. I can't even explain it. Where like birds were literally flying overhead. You know they're normally in that like V shape, right?
As they're going into the distance.
Yeah,
Overhead.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like that's just how they like ducks fly like that or whatever.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And but dude, they were flying in the literally it was the DNA strand. You know, like how it looks like that
Yes. The helix, the double helix.
double helix. That's how the birds were flying across, and I was like, "What is that?" Like, dude, you know where you like this is not real. This
Yeah.
can't be real. Like
Like that
they
light flashing
literally,
right
it's a
now.
double helix. I mean,
Continue. Anyway.
you sound a bit you sound shook about it. We
I'm
should
just
make
surprised because it's never happened before. But okay, I guess your spirit is interfering with the frequencies, or maybe it's coming from outside. I have no idea. But whatever.
well,
Continue.
my blinds are closed, which is interesting, but we should make a YouTube short with that, just that whole situation. But anyways, so everything is happening, and there's this like flow state, right? The
Mm.
clouds are like doing amazing things, the birds are flying, you know, everything. And then all of a sudden, the dude who wasn't with us, we were at his place. He comes walking there, playing music on his phone.
Mm.
And the dude, it's like you can literally see the music. It's like fractals, like
Hmm.
breaking the scene like glass, dude.
What were
Just
these mushrooms?
like
What?
just portobello, portobello.
Okay, okay, okay. Mm, okay.
Let's just say maybe they were penis envies,
Oh,
but
okay. Yeah.
uh, and then dude just like glass being broken, like fractal, with him coming there with that sound. And it just
Yeah.
completely interrupted and disturbed like the peace of the
Mm,
situation.
mm,
Like
mm, mm, mm.
switch that off, man. Like, we don't need that here.
Probably also the type
You
of
know,
music. It wasn't like
like
uh,
look, it wasn't like hip hop or something common like rock or one of these things.
mm,
But it wasn't. It might have even been a good song, but it was just the wrong place at the wrong time.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like he obviously wasn't able to read the
Something
room.
like a harp or violin might have done a completely different thing.
Whoa!
You
But
know
you
what?
know,
It's like,
you do it from like very far away,
mm.
so that when you're lying there, you're like, where? I kind of hear a harp. You know, that would be amazing, dude. But so what I'm saying is now, just that situation alone, you have these like this altered state, and then you've got this music,
Mm.
the music being introduced into this situation, the scene, and it has this effect. So the person who's sitting there late at night, like on meth or whatever, and he's busy creating these songs.
Mm.
He's got the BPMs going, and you don't know. Most of those DJs are like on some type of speed or something, right?
It's not. It's
And
upper.
they
It's
stay
not.
up
Yeah.
the whole. Exactly, they're sitting there the whole night creating. So what has happened in there, in that thing, you know?
Mm.
Could it be akin to like a warlock standing over a cauldron?
Like
Things
all
bubbling,
I can tell you is, if
and then
I've read,
making us drink.
look, if I've read those books, I'm definitely not the only one. And these books
Yeah,
have been around for a long time. This Gardner guy died in 1964. That means, and he obviously didn't write this book when he was 80. He did write it when he was a bit older, but let's say 1940 or 1950. That means that's my mother's age. The people who were born and read that are like 70 today. So
yeah,
it's I mean, and like I said, it doesn't have to be a perfect science. You don't have to believe that necessarily. Like, you don't have to believe in angels and demons or anything. All you have to know is that we know what modern science is telling us about music and development of children, about states of mind, what like binaural beats, and etc. Now we know that people knew this or inferred knowledge of this long before any of these studies came out. The studies are confirming it, right?
yeah,
Measurably. So we don't know. That's why it's important to understand, like, what's the spirit or the essence of this thing I'm going to. And I'm not trying to say that all of them are dark. I'm not. But definitely there are some, and you know this, that every party has a different feel. They have different
yeah,
organizers. Some of them have that very light, beautiful, even the music they play at night, everything is, it's, and then
the
you've got other
church, it
ones,
is completely beautiful.
yeah, and then you have other ones that are a little bit nastier, a little bit, we also sometimes liked that, like, oh, it's a little
Yeah,
darker, but
those
it's
when we
cool.
this one's a little bit more intimate,
Yeah,
and
like,
it's
what
like,
does
well,
that
what are you
mean?
looking for? You know, are you trying to feed off of that adrenochrome that those old people were feeding off of? Because
Yeah, it's
honestly, some
tricky,
of the
bro.
best parties were the smaller ones, where there's
Yeah,
only like 150 to 200 people,
and there
and
it's so easy, like you said.
what is
It's like
that
basically it's
sound?
basically like a witch, huh?
Is that coming from me?
No, it's from me. It's basically like
Oh,
a witch's cauldron, and she's got, or even better, it's like that part in Pinocchio, the Disney version, which I always find so trippy because Walt Disney was definitely a witch himself, a warlock, um, who
allegedly.
allegedly, sorry,
Well, he's dead now, so
yeah, um, and I mean, if you just watch Fantasia and
all of that, dude.
even yeah, some of his earliest work, it's basically like a cauldron. He's got, sorry, I'm talking about Pinocchio. Where he goes to that theme park where they're just
Yeah,
having
even Geppetto,
fun.
who makes the boy and stuff.
Yeah, they're having fun forever and ever and ever,
Yeah.
and then they start turning into donkeys because the more they eat, turn into pigs or whatever. It's
Yeah, remember because and then they become like essentially they become like the working class. You
yeah,
become like a mule for the system.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh and it's extremely dark. Uh a lot of like there's something about the way that it was drawn back then, right? Where like something in the animation itself, whether it's like Aladdin or like that scene with like Jafar,
mm,
and I think it's like when like the red genie is like who becomes the red genie in
Jafar.
Aladdin?
He's the
Yeah,
one
but
who
like
says, "Give me all the powers of the genie." He gets fooled into that
yeah,
because Aladdin tricks him into, like, "Oh, well, you never be as powerful as the genie," and then he's like, "I want to be a genie."
yeah.
Yeah.
and then he becomes, it's like this weird, like dark scene, like very
Mm.
eerie. Uh, which is, you know, what's funny about that is the fact that there's a good genie as well, but which is actually just an evil. It's a jinn. It's an
It's
evil
all
spirit.
gin, brother. It's all gin.
You
It's
know what
just
I
they're
mean?
trying to convince you. That's what I was telling you that.
We're
Okay.
genies. Like, if you ever seen Shazam,
Yes, yes.
that movie
Unfortunately, I have Shaquille
with
O'Neal.
Sinbad. Oh, is it?
Sh-
It's Shaquille O'Neal.
yeah,
We're genies, and he's like the black guy, and it's like the white Jewish kid who wants to play basketball, and
dude.
Shazam, and then like the the glass. Remember how the glass breaks?
I don't
I
really want
saw
to
that movie
remember
way
that
too
movie.
much.
Yeah.
Like, he does like a slam dunk, and the
Oh
glass
my
shattered.
gosh,
Like, Shazam, and you're like,
dude.
what is this? You know, like kids are watching this.
Dude.
You know, and now everybody wants to have. It's like that movie. I know we're going a bit schizo here with the topics, but like Indian in My Closet. Do you remember that movie?
Indian in my closet. What? What are you talking
Dude,
about?
it's like, it was one of the best movies. Like, when I was a kid, basically, this guy gets given this. There's a word for it. Like, it's a very old word. People don't use it today, but it's got to do with like a small little wooden box thing
Hmm.
that you would, in the movie it's called a closet. It's a door. So think about
A
like a
wardrobe.
tiny little wardrobe, but a very small one, like a cupboard, but it's like very very small, and you can like open the doors like a cupboard, and it's got like one shelf, and you can pack stuff in there, right?
Hmm.
So he gets this thing, and from his grandpa, it's like he just, I think in his mind he's like, oh, this is all my grandpa left me or whatever. This, like, what am I supposed to do with this thing?
Hmm.
And then he has like these toys. He has like this Indian, like a red Indian, and then
Oh,
when he puts the toys in there
they become
and he
real.
opens it, then they're alive.
That sounds really familiar now.
Yeah, so and then he has like, he has a cowboy toy and he's got an Indian toy.
Mm.
And that's what happens when the day when he opens it, when he puts them both in there, then the cowboy actually shoots the Indian.
Yeah.
And then I think to save him, he closes it again, turns them back to toys, and then that's how he's able to save them. But I think he even has a dinosaur toy that he puts in there, and he's like, whoa. Uh, but I just think of that name, right? Indian in My Closet, because I think
Yeah.
that's supposed to be like a, I kind of think it's like a derogatory term,
100%. 100%.
you
You'd be
know.
amazed all the things that we did when, like, all the things that we watched from the 90s, all of that should be, most of that should be deleted. Like, it's super
Not
racist. I mean,
deleted. That's a bit. I
bro,
I
think
don't
of,
really care for like those types of things because it just shows you like, oh, that's the time. You know, it's kind of like a little time traveling thing to be like, oh, yo, man, this is pretty intense.
we used to talk like this.
Yeah, even if you look at like the Leon Schuster movies. But there's something that I wanted, like he's doing blackface, you know, uh,
Hmm.
and like I don't agree with him then
Fit
getting
one, go
cancelled.
down.
Yeah, and it was like he was the real stupid black guy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Where he's like, "Oh, boss, I look up," you know, and you're like, "This is like one of those caricatures drawn in the cartoons with like the big pink
Yeah,
lips,"
yeah, yeah,
and you're
yeah,
like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
you
This is
know,
very, very, very messed up, kind of actually. Like, I would love to, because we obviously grew up with that, but I would love to see, I'd love to just play that for like a new black kid who's like 25 and just see their face
yeah,
drop, like, what the hell is this guy doing, you know?
because like that's the one thing that has changed is now obviously like growing up at like literally being alive when apartheid was like happening and then ending, right? If I got
Mm.
my dates right. Um,
Well, you were alive. You were 5, at
yeah,
least.
exactly. So what I'm saying is that, like, being alive for that crossover, I remember so many different things of going to the shop,
Mm,
and then the manager, Steven, he's just like constantly following us.
mm,
Literally, like me and my brothers, and we even told our mom, and she would go down to the shop and shout at him, um, cause like, why you keep following my boys? They're not like, we're not even stealing anything, dude.
mm, mm,
And dude, he would just follow us. He would stand at the end of the aisle or at the beginning of the
mm.
aisle, and we would like try lose him. And it's not even a big store. It's maybe only 3 aisles,
A bit
and
more, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
we would just like run from one, and then he would appear, and then we would run, and
Okay,
then
well,
he'd
that's super
appear
suspicious
again.
as well. Like, I would also start
No, but we only did that
because he.
like because this had been happening so long. We're like, let's try
Mm,
lose him.
mm,
But anyways, so uh, yeah, so but seeing it today, where you have like some of these young black guys, I told you, the one dude and he's like, nice BM,
mm.
and he's like 19 years old and comes from like, his dad's very wealthy and he's driving around in this brand
Yeah.
new BMW, and he's got the white girls in the back, and you see
High
like
crime.
the
High
the,
crime.
the old guys like looking at him,
Mm.
and then they even just like, I even heard the one guy's like, look at this nigga or whatever, and you're just
Yeah.
like, what is this about, bro? uh
Yeah, but
like,
dude, you
what is
know.
this tightness in the chest where it's, what I actually saw? I saw um almost like a conspiracy to harm.
Yeah. Looking
They
for a
they're
reason.
standing there looking at him, and it's like, oh, we don't know what happened. He OD'd you or something, and then he knocked his head here by the pavement.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, not to bring that up, but that is literally, if you're in South Africa, you've seen it. Like, you've
Yeah.
seen this transition of all these different things.
No,
But
I 100%. I'll tell you one thing is and I think it annoyed so many people. It's like uh, Johannesburg black people. So Durbanville is behind. The Western Cape in general is kind of has been. I don't know about how it is now, but was
yeah, Durbanville is one of these suburbs
y-
in South
yeah,
Africa.
in Western Cape, and the Western Cape has been behind many other parts of South Africa in terms of that integration and multiculturalism that's been happening, even in places like Bloemfontein, where Boers are now speaking Tswana fluently, and Eastern
Yeah.
Cape and Durban, where
Oh, and you're like,
yeah,
what is
like
this?
exactly, like people have gotten with the program. They're like, yeah, okay, it's a black country, but we're here. You get it. And the Western Cape has been behind that.
I wouldn't class any country as a race, but I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, okay, it's an African country. Let me say it like that.
I
And that's
mean, in
the
terms of like, as they say, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So
okay, okay. Let's leave it like that. Okay, fine. My point is the
what
thing
I'm
is
saying is, the person who's cupped their hands in the water does not own the river. If you know what I'm saying, that's where a lot of
now,
these issues
now,
come from.
but when I'm at the train station here in Germany, someone can call me nigger. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Whatever. Like I get it. It's
Fuck
everyone.
this.
It's everyone's when it's yours, but when it's mine, it's mine. Right? Like if it's mine, it's mine. But what's yours is all of ours. Okay. Okay. Cool. I get it. I get it. So,
No, this
um,
is all of ours, man. And
yeah.
it's like,
So let's have a piece
yo,
of
that's
yours. No, no, this is
crazy.
mine. This is mine.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, I don't have a problem with that. And I think many people feel like that. Like, okay, if it's gonna be like that, then let's make it like that across the board. Um, my point being, when you take someone who's from Johannesburg, a black person from Johannesburg, where seeing black people in positions of authority or power side by side with white kids, Indian kids, colored kids as equals, and then that person comes to the Western Cape, or more specifically,
Oh, and it's
a place like
backwards.
Durbanville, and it's backward, you see the uncomfortability of many white people because they want, why aren't you scared of me, man? Like, why aren't you submissive? And you know
And
this
why don't you
yourself.
know your place?
Why don't you
You
know your
must get a
place?
big smack, you
How
black
often,
guy.
how many times did you see that? Because I was, for example, coming from a place like Berlin, okay? Berlin, not just a white country, a white city in a white country, predominantly white country, but very multicultural,
Crazy.
right? So
Yeah.
I'm used to, let me put it quote unquote, used to white people. So now you've got this young black kid. Someone is telling me, you must hold your back. But I'm like, no, I don't want to. What are you talking about? This is my father's property. You can't park here. And it's annoying the hell out of this person that, wait a minute, I thought this, I was so sure that the moment I speak, he was going to keep his mouth shut. But this black kid is talking back. How many times have you seen them, like, just get so annoyed with that? And I'm not going to lie, it did eventually give me a chip on my shoulder, which I didn't want. Um, but my point being that, yeah,
But
it was
it's
a
hard
problem.
to
It was a
it's hard for
problem in
that
South
not
Africa.
to happen,
What?
right?
To give you a chip
Obviously,
on your shoulder.
the ball lands in the court with many different people, but that is a possibility, especially when you're that young and you have to experience it.
Yeah.
And then not just there. And I don't want this to be like a victim thing, but it's just this is just what happened with us because we were fortunate enough to go to the white schools, right? Even when everything opened up and now colored kids and black kids could go to the white schools.
Yeah.
Um, like I was one of the first people. Think about that. In South Africa, I was one of the first people to go to the white school
Mm.
because just because it opened up, that didn't mean it gave you access, right? Like I was at
You had to live in the right
the
area.
privilege
Yes.
of being able to move to that area, and then, you know, as Dave Chappelle says, be poor in the rich neighborhood. uh, Jokes, but other people couldn't do that.
Yeah.
You know, just because it's like, oh, what now you're gonna all of a sudden go from the ghetto to the white schools? No, you still need cash to do that.
Yeah.
It's open now. So if you had the opportunity, you saw this like crossover, and then it was even there. You know, you would see it with the haircuts. Right, the white kids, they were allowed to have their hair a little bit longer because they have this like straight hair, and the way they can cut their hair is like in a certain way.
Styles.
But no,
Basically styles.
you
Yeah.
like a nice style, like a comb over, very like 1945 German cut type of thing. Um, but we had to
Why
be
did you have to
like
say a German cut? Are you trying to insinuate something with like AD?
Nazis. No,
Okay.
I'm just it's
Okay.
just a joke.
Okay.
It
Okay.
bombed.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, but then for the colored kids, no, you guys must have a buzz cut. You know,
Yeah.
like it
Oof. It
must
feels like
be.
a like servitude, right?
It's like,
It's like a
yeah, like
slave cut
what are you
almost.
talking about? No, no, you guys must have very short hair. You know how your hair works, and it's like this is why like my hair like at a point I just started growing my hair out, and like I've had times where I've cut it and stuff, but I think maybe it just comes from that where it's like yeah, what are you talking about hair? You know,
Yeah.
it's because I grew up in a very like militant type of school where it was your shirt must be tucked in, uniform,
Mm.
hair
Same.
very short. Yes sir, no sir.
Yes.
When the teacher walks in, you stand up.
Mm.
It's uncle and auntie. We got corporal punishment. So uh, I came from Hebrew slash Christian school, and basically we got hit with what was called the rod of Moses. You
Mm.
see, uh, that this was the tool used. It's like, and you can look at it online. These are literally designed for hitting kids. Like
Yes, it's a paddle.
it's
It's a
like
paddle. Basically,
it's
it's
a
a wooden paddle.
paddle, right, with a nice handle, and
Yeah,
it's got holes in it,
for
and it only
aerodynamics.
has one use. Yeah,
I had
and
a
those
Jewish family, their friend in Berlin. The mom also had that in the lounge, just like up there. Um,
they always have it up,
yeah, yeah.
you
So you
know.
can
But I
see
mean,
it.
it was in our school. It was called the rod of Moses,
Uh,
um, and yeah, dude. Whenever you got in trouble, and I happened, dude, I don't even know how many times I got hit at school. Because, but the thing is, they have to call your parents, and your parents have to give the permission. And
mm,
my parents would just be like, "Yeah, like
give it.
do it," you know.
Yeah.
And then I don't know like what they think it is, but basically you go there to a cold room. You're wearing these thin gray school pants, and I would even see like, you know, I won't say his name, but he was like warming up his arm and
What
stuff.
the heck, dude?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
and
You're like,
like the
I
other
don't
female
wanna pull
teachers
my
in
don't want to pull a muscle.
the and they're busy talking. You just like you standing there and you like you know that pain is coming, and the teachers, the female teachers, are reading from the Bible and they're busy weeping, dude. You know,
What,
like they're weeping,
dude?
and it's a ritual. It was ritual. Like I had it too many times to know. But I think the problem with me is that I never really cried. Like there were times when I did cry when I felt that they were really trying to get me to cry.
Mm,
Where it's like oh, it's the sixth shot, and now you have to just break like that, and then he stops. You know,
he wants
but
to break you.
yeah, like and
Yeah.
like I bet you they took turns, right? Like oh, Mikey, is it Mikey again? Let me have a go at him. He didn't cry
I
last
can
time.
do it.
Yeah, I can break him. You know, not saying that I'm a tough guy, but it's just if you compare that to the beatings I got from my parents, that's in a walk in the park. You know. um, but yeah, so like after it happens, I'm just like, let me go to class, and then they pull you down and they sit with you, and they all start weeping, and the one teacher's reading scripture to you,
Hmm.
and you just like, and like they want like you must cry. That's the one thing I remember is like they needed you to cry so that you can be sorry for your sins almost, you know, because I pushed a kid or something, and that was enough.
You know what? The things I want to just say is that it's not like all these people were necessarily racist. It's just that when you're from a certain generation, and I include myself in this as well, um, you grow up with a certain paradigm, and that's just how it is. I mean, there's this idea, for example, and Susan, my wife, she's told me about this a few times, and she's like, look at all these videos, like saying the same thing that
Nice docs, but
that
okay.
that black people are still perceived in Germany, for example, as being tougher. Like, you don't need that. I'm just gonna give you some paracetamol, you'll be good, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, you're young and fit, it's nothing. And then the person goes somewhere else to like the US and they scan and it's like, no, you've got cancer. And like, she was trying to tell
Whoa,
her doctor
that's
here, she was
rough.
trying to tell her doctor here in Germany that no, I'm actually not feeling well. And they're like, oh no, you're young and fit. You know, meaning in my mind, like, come on, you're from a tough breed. But it doesn't, you
Yeah,
see, it's an older generational thing. It's not that the guy's trying to be racist, it's just that That's the
You just
paradigm.
need to go across the back. That'll whip you into shape.
You know, and the reason I say include myself in this as well is because obviously, if I were to say something like, "Don't be gay, man," or like, "You're gay," that's funny. I don't have a problem with gay people, right? That's a fact. Like, everyone who knows me knows this. But it's because I grew up in a time when that was a joke, right? Think about your early 2000s comedy movies. Uh, Politically correct? Not at all. So,
The best movies, like Scary
yeah, but you see,
Movie.
you think that and I think that, right? But we are already dinosaurs, in a way.
No, 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 no.
No, we are because, of course, there's some people who take it too far, who take it to the point where, I mean, for example, let me take another example that's not got to do anything with sexuality. Robbie Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder.
You mean in Tropic Thunder?
That's literally what I just said. Thank you for the echo being an echo. The Tropic Thunder, where he's playing an Australian guy who's an actor that's pretending to be a black guy. So clearly
Yeah.
it's not blackface in the sense of I'm literally playing a black actor. No, he's playing an actor who's pretending to be a black actor or black
Yeah.
army captain or whatever soldier. So they're making fun at the absurdity of Hollywood. But you and I can get it. And there might be some people in the now generation or in the 20s now, 16, 17, who can get it. But I promise you, there are some people who just see it as that's not acceptable. Um,
But
and you,
in which way though? Like if you had to break it down from you put yourself in their shoes,
it's the same.
what
It's the
is it
same.
that you would come up with to be like, this is not right? What do you think is the process in their mind that makes them go, this is evil?
Okay, I don't know if they believe it's evil. I can't represent their way of
Not
thinking.
evil, I'm just using it as a word for not good.
Well, I think that the problem is simply that um, they never want to see a white person putting on heavy black makeup, saying and going, "Hey, hi, y'all! I'm going to have me a cookout, y'all." You know, they don't want to see that. Whereas we're laughing because we know and we're closer to that type of comedy because that's what we grew up with, and we understand that's not the objective here, right? But it's the same. Another flip coin of this, I know this is going to trigger you, is when they try to have a black
Glad
elf.
you realized that before it happened. Don't even bring up the black elf.
Oh, you see? But listen, here's the thing I want to tell you is that
I
there's
don't have a problem with it.
no, no, listen.
First of all, I
Listen,
mean for
the,
the
the Lord of the Rings series, there's a lot that is wrong with it. But if you're being objective, there's also a lot that's been done well. And one thing, as someone who has seen it, I promise you, that elf being brown, it's the least of it. The guy acts his role perfectly, to perfection. Even his face, he's a dude. If there were to be a brown, if there were to
I've
be a
seen Rings of Power.
yes, if there were to be a brown elf commander, he can definitely act it. This guy is super convincing. But the thing is that some people only see the fact of, oh, but you know, Tolkien never had any black elves, and that's the problem they have. They're missing all the other things that are wrong and could be better, and they just stop at
It's not
there's a brown
about
elf.
Tolkien though. We're talking
No,
about the history and the lore of that of elves in
but
general.
nowhere in the book.
Woodland people.
But nowhere in
I'm
the
not saying it's nothing to do with the book. It's got to do with the lore.
okay. So if the law is not
Um,
based on the books, then what is it based on?
because it
Uh,
crosses.
huh?
Tolkien's not the first person to come up with elves.
Yeah, but
He didn't
you don't
create
have the right.
elves.
Listen. I've read the books.
What I'm saying
No,
is,
no.
if you
Sorry. May I? May I?
see, just to, okay,
May I?
fine.
May I? May I?
But I was trying. I had a point. But okay,
Yes,
go
yes.
for it.
But before you twist the point, may I just say that
That's the point.
hold on.
Thanks.
I've I've read the books. I've also read the Silmarillion. There
We
is
all
no way.
have.
Listen, he uses slightly ambiguous language when describing characters. The Because he uses words like fair. Now, fair, not fair, light skinned or white. He says fair. And some he does maybe use the word white. He'll describe the hair as blonde. But fair refers to the nature of the being. You understand?
Yeah,
A,
soft
a
features,
light,
if you
yeah,
will.
soft features, light, a light being. You get it? Like a fair person. He doesn't say
A
this
fair
is,
maiden is
this
like,
was.
a beautiful maiden.
Yes, he never says this was a white man who looked like a Germanic person. No, it's not there. So you cannot hold him, you cannot hold the law to an idea that you had in your head when you were reading it and then feel like there's no blacks that are supposed to be elves. Only orcs are black people because he says they're
No one
dark.
said orcs.
I'm just saying.
That's actually really racist. What I'm saying is this. Okay, it's all about timing. Okay, when the first movies came out, there wasn't one black person in it. Okay, we just put a pin in that.
Yeah,
Okay,
because we
that
know that they
doesn't really.
never had black people in the
Let me
movies.
first finish the. Let
Okay,
me first
okay,
finish the point.
okay.
Okay, so that's we got three movies of Lord of the Rings. We put a pin in that. This is how it was depicted. Okay, cool. Then you have the second aspect. Rings of Power comes out during the whole ESG score things and DEI. That's a very like what's the word I'm looking for? It's a very relevant point for the time
Yeah.
because it came out during that time, and that is the problem.
What's
Is
the
that
problem?
when you're doing this in all these different types of films and movies of DEI, diversity, equity, whatever it is, um, now all of a sudden you're taking what we've built and now you're pulling it and ripping it apart.
We've built. Okay, interesting.
No, but do you understand
Let
what I'm saying?
let me
Had
but
it
let me
happened
tell you.
before DEI, maybe it wouldn't have
Don't
there
come too
wouldn't have
close
been
to the
such a
mic.
big
Don't come too
backlash.
close to the mic. Yeah. Look, look. Here's the thing. I understand what you're saying, but there's something else you gotta understand. Just because DEI, which I think is a loaded term now because people are using it for everything, especially in this current U.S. government. Um, like even when you have someone who's been a lawyer for 20 years and she's a black woman and is qualified to be a judge, they're like it's DEI, but okay, whatever. Just because DEI was the impetus that now made them add sparsely some people of color, right?
And not
Doesn't
sparsely,
It
but
is
okay.
sparsely because most of the actors are still white, if you can count it, and it's
Like if
fine.
you have
Just
Ariel, the Little Mermaid, as
hold
a
on,
black chick, then it's kind of like,
hold on.
okay, we see
Let's
what you're doing.
let's not conflate that because that's another thing. You've got to understand something with Disney, and this has always been the case with Disney. Disney has access to real talent, singers. It's not like even the Mickey Mouse Club or the Disney Club where Justin Timberlake came from, and Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera.
Christina Aguilera.
Yeah, Disney has always had access to great singers. So if they are going to cast a real life mermaid movie, why would they not pick her? Because that woman has an amazing singing voice. Why would they pick someone who doesn't? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Bro,
So I
you
don't
go
want
on
to.
TikTok and find a good singer. It's not.
Bro, bro,
There's a lot
bro,
of great singers,
bro.
dude.
She
It's not about
has.
singing.
Look, let's be honest. She has a great track record. I don't know if you know anything about that Haley girl, but she's come a long way. I remember watching her when it was her and her older sister on YouTube, and they were doing renditions of other songs. They're absolutely amazing singers. So she has credentials. Like the CV is popping for that. Okay? But that aside from the point, let's go back to Lord of the Rings. What I'm trying to say is, even if DEI is the reason that it was the decision to, hey, let's bring in people of color, let's remember something. And this is why I'm saying this is dinosaur thinking. What is the obsession with having things today like they were before? I never heard my father say, "Oh, why are they using Dean, this guy, as Superman? He's not the real Superman. It'll always be Christopher Reeves." Like, they never said that. That's something that
That's
our.
obviously not the same
It
thing.
is. It is. Because even
If you
today,
had Denzel Washington, then you'd be like, "What?
if it had what?
Black Superman? Are you kidding me?" Even if he does a great job, you'll be like, "This is not a part of
Dude,
the source code.
Mikey.
That's
Mikey.
what it's about."
Mikey. Superman is the last son of Krypton, not the last white hope. His race, his race has nothing to do with the story because he's an alien. It doesn't make sense. I'm not saying that they should do that. But what I'm saying is it wouldn't make sense because it's got nothing to do with the story. I'll give you another example. Look at the spider into the that Spider-Man animation
Spider-Verse.
into the Spider-Verse. That was so refreshing. Not just because he's a black kid, but because the story can now be different. You see, we've been getting the same stories over and over, the same Batman
But
stories.
Miles
Hold on, hold on,
Morales is
hold on.
from. It's an old story. It's not a new thing.
What do you mean it's
They
this
made him
old
like that.
story?
It's an old comic.
Hmm?
Miles Morales.
From where?
That was written by Marvel, as written by Stan Lee.
Yeah, but
Or
no, but
whoever. This from a long time ago. It's not like a new character that they made for 2020, whatever, when it came out. You're talking about a character from like 1940s, 1960s, or whatever.
hold on, brother.
I hope.
You know,
Allegedly, in my opinion. When was Miles Morales created?
bingo. Okay. Um, yes, I asked, is Miles Morales Spider-Man a new storyline? Yes, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales is a new, standalone storyline that serves as a sequel or spin-off to the 2018 Spider-Man game. You see that? So my point here being that this.
Nothing. That question is so. Of course, it's new. You have to type in when was the character created. That just saying it's new because it came out the other day.
Okay.
Like, how can you say, like, oh, is Game of Thrones, House of the Dragons, is that a new thing? Like, of course it's new. But when was the character created originally?
Miles Morales was created by writer Brian Bendis and artist Sarah Pichelli, making his first appearance in August 2011 in Ultimate Comics Fallout number 4. He was introduced as the new Spider-Man in the Ultimate Marvel Universe following the death of Peter Parker. So, are you happy now? It's a new story. And my point is, it's brilliant. It was so good. It was so good, in fact, that they had to introduce some part of that into the new real action Spider-Man. And it's refreshing. My point is, don't be so obsessed with retelling exactly the same story as it was before. Because if that were the case, we would never have had Man of Steel. Because let's be honest, that Henry Cavill rendition, it was a lot darker and edgier than any Superman movie we've ever had before. But it was brilliant. So why
He
would we...
slips dude's neck in the church,
Yeah,
and the
that's
laser like
yes,
it's
exactly.
amazing,
So
dude.
what I'm trying to say is, let's not be so obsessed. Obviously, there's limits to where it will be like, okay, this is stupid. I mean, I don't want to. Right now, I'm just thinking of an example. Maybe it's a bad one. Let's say Black Panther. It's supposed to be a country in Africa, right? I mean, not Black Panther. There is a country, but
And Bucky
Wakan.
Barnes, Wakanda forever.
You get it? It's supposed to. Black Panther is the hero of Wakanda. Wakanda is supposed to be an African country that hid its wealth for a long time. Okay, that is very tied to the fact that it has to be an African. What's another example? Let's say we have
Okay, okay. Here's
pick
another thing.
pick a
Now let's do
hero.
it in reverse.
Yes, pick a
What
hero,
if
but pick a
a
hero.
white T'Challa?
No, but
Say if
that's
you grew up as Black Panther,
Mikey,
and then in today's they came
Mikey,
out with the movie.
Mikey. Pick a character. Let's say you pick a character like Captain America is a good one. Captain
No, Captain
America
America.
has to be white.
What's his name? Sam Wilson becomes Captain
Yes,
America,
but
so
he
they use
in
black.
no, that's not the same because he clearly in the storyline there was a Steve Rogers, but we know that Steve Rogers then gave it to him, which means that Captain America Steve Rogers is white because that is key to the storyline of World War II and his story. If they were to say, we're going to make Steve Rogers, not the symbol of Captain America, but Steve Rogers himself black, then I'll tell you that's stupid. Because literally, his whiteness is tied to the story. It couldn't be. You understand? It can't be. Because it's literally tied. It's a historical tie, and that can't be. But if you tell me, oh, Steve Rogers has passed on, and he's passed on the mantle, okay, that's believable. Because main thing is Steve Rogers was indeed. So like if we
You
had,
can't really use Marvel comics
why not?
or any of these multiversal things because they all have an element. There's like a Green Lantern who's a black guy. Like there's a version of every single character who
Mm.
is black most of the time. So it's hard to use that because you can't really go against it because no, if you look, there's someone who is actually that version of
But we're
the
not going in,
character.
we're not even
If we're
going into the
talking about
multiverse. We're not even going into the
like what
multiverse.
about Snow White, right? What would you say about Snow White? Like if you like based off her name and everything.
No, but Snow White has to be a white looking person because it's Middle Ages Europe.
But then they used the black chick to play Snow
No, no,
White,
no.
and
That's
that
not a
was the
black person.
outrage.
That's not a black person. That's not a black person.
Well, colored or whatever.
No, 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 no. Look, first of all, that girl, that actress, was terrible in general. First, that's the
But
first
we're
thing we
not
have
talking
to.
about her credentials.
No, no,
We're
let's.
talking about are you sticking to the source code?
Source code. What are you, Agent Smith? Dude, and even with your shades, now you're like the agent. Look, my point being,
I'm just asking questions.
no, I would think it's stupid if you had a sister, right? A black.
Sister girl.
Yeah, I would be someone who would say, look, that's stupid because we all know that that is literally tied to old European medieval stories. And even before medieval times, like, before Christianity like became a big thing, basically what I'm trying to say. You know, it doesn't make sense. Like I would say no. It would also be like, why would we have a white Aladdin or a black Aladdin? It's literally tied to his ethnicity is tied. So even if and this is the point, even if she
Like
isn't, even if,
Mowgli, who's clearly Indian or whatever.
who's not Indian, if you have
No,
a
no, I'm saying Mowgli from Jungle Book comes from
India,
India or whatever.
yes,
Yeah.
then I would tell you no, that's stupid because it's tied into it. Now the point is that you brought up is she's not white in the sense of Northern European. We know,
Well, Snow White is very it's a very specific name.
yeah, but
It
Snow White,
means that you're that white.
yes,
You
pale,
wouldn't, Snow White. It's
yes,
like
that's
not
part of her.
just white.
Yes, but they did make her look super pale in that thing, right? Like we know that, for example, um, they've done this before. They do this all both ways. Um, the person doesn't necessarily have to be Egyptian, but if they can just pass for Egyptian. So like Aladdin, he doesn't actually have to be Arabic, but if he can at least be brown and have the black hair looking Arabic, it's good enough. This happens all the time, right? But if they're now gonna bring in like Denzel Washington, like you said, or like uh,
Shout out Denzel.
or like Jaden Smith, I'll tell you, okay, but that's stupid. Like unless you try to heavily put him in makeup
Jaden Smith could pass, obviously, because
as
he's
Aladdin.
white.
Yeah, but they would have to give him like, yeah, he'd have to, yeah, you're right. Actually, you could, eh?
Like
You
when he
could.
was a kid in Karate Kid, he could
Yeah,
have easily been even Mowgli. You wouldn't there wouldn't be an outrage if he was Mowgli. You know.
yeah, I suppose
Um,
maybe. But you get what I'm trying to say. You get what I'm
no,
trying to
I do,
say.
but there's something else that I wanted to say. Where even if you look at Andre Vosloo, you know who that is,
Yes, I remember the Mummy
the Mummy, right?
with Brendan
He
Fraser
was
and
like he's a white guy.
and he's
They
not
just
believable. You
made,
know,
but it's like because obviously at the time you're like, oh yeah, this is how Egyptians look. They're these
I never believed it. I
they're like
always had
white
question.
guys,
I
like
always had
white people who just have like a tan.
I always had that question. You know what the thing
And the
is?
sh- no,
You know how I know that it's seriously racially motivated is because there's a story. You know when they found Great Zimbabwe, you obviously know Great Zimbabwe, that beautiful stone structure where city, what remains of it anyway, with the stones like perfectly fitting into each
yeah,
other
the
and
the
stapled.
cattle kraal that they called it.
And you know what the first person who found it was? He was like, "Oh, there must have been a white race here." And it's like, "What?"
Oh wow.
Like because the thought
And
that
that can be fact checked, obviously.
yes, we can fact check it. We can fact check it. I can ask
I'm
you.
just saying if someone looks it up, but I'm
Yes,
just
they first thought the first thing that the guy thought was, oh, it must have been maybe some ancient white race that was here long ago. Because obviously no black man can make this, right? Um, and that's just part of the problem. So it's like this, like I said, sometimes they're being overtly racist and they have Aryan ideals. Sometimes it's just the paradigm. All they've been reading from childhood is black man not do anything, white man do everything. So when they see it, they're like, that's nonsense. There's no way a brown person did this. And that's what you're talking about as well. Those structures, those massive stone structures, varying sizes, that are scattered in their thousands from in Pumalanga all the way to Botswana into, you see these stone structures, you see that they sometimes were built out of hundreds of thousands of stones from areas that are hundreds of kilometers away. And what's your conclusion? Oh, it was cattle kraal. Because a black man is too stupid. A black man will live in a mud hut and will build
those things are
a
actually
stone
very
structure.
advanced. People don't understand. Those
Even
mud
the
huts
dude,
are like very, very. It's insulated. It's cool in the summer. It's
yes,
warm in the winter.
exactly.
Like, yeah, those are. But anyways, I digress.
Yeah, anyway. But my friend Mikey, I would love to continue arguing with you forever. But let's not do that.
Yeah.
I want us to finish off.
Let's wrap this up. I
Let's
don't
wrap
know.
up with the young 2 minute.
Yeah, we're just taking a moment for everything to
Yeah.
settle.
So just remind me again when we do the thank you meditation for the 2 minutes. What am I supposed to be thinking about?
So, and this is even if someone wants to like to join it. Look, there's a lot has been said and everything. We don't want to leave it out like that. You know, there's a lot of speculation and things. Um, it's just a reset. Don't like clear your mind. Just be still. Don't think about anything. Just the best way I can say this is the best explanation. All things you desire, whether it's health, wealth, or love, or trying to achieve anything, for one moment, just put that aside and to be quiet. To be like
Okay.
absolutely still. If like a thought comes up into your head, it's cool, whatever. You know, if a leaf flows across a river, you don't have to jump in to look at it. You know, just let it flow by.
Mm.
And yeah, we'll just do that for 2 minutes. I'll say thank you to start, and then I'll say thank you to end it, and that's
Okay.
where we'll leave off.
Okay.
But good chat though.
As always.
Yeah, that was awesome. Very intense moments there with the lights and everything. Okay, thank you. Thank you.